Hello, welcome to Inside the Data on Inside the Birds. I'm Geoff Mosher, and of course, we have our data expert and analyst with us, Sam Finkel. And the Eagles are coming off another win. They beat the Lions at the Link. Very windy game, very interesting game. Probably not a score 16-9 that a lot of people had on their bingo card, but a great display of efforts on defense, Sam. Offense, same old song. So we'll talk about that. And for our listeners and viewers to know, the running joke going around, and Sam had texted me, can we just do Inside the Data on defense this week? And I said, you're not the first person to have that joke, because when we did Inside the Tape with Greg Cosell, we were joking, we should still do this show in two parts, just front end defense, back end defense, and then just ignore offense altogether. But it's not been pretty for the offense, Sam. We know that.
Yeah, we do. But we'll talk a little bit about maybe why. I mean, we've done that pretty much all year. But
yeah. I mean, we've beaten the third down horse to a pulp,
yes.
And it still remains. Now they were a little bit better, no, only slightly. I don't think they had like 7 or 8 3-and-outs against the Lions, but they had, I think, 3 in a row at one point. So
I have the data, so
we'll get into it.
Look.
I love it. All right, let's start off like we always do and get right to the good old charts that we like to share with everybody that you make. And we usually start off with the basic data to remind everybody what happened in the game. So here we go with the week 10 by the numbers. And Eagles a couple more green. I did think, without looking at the Sam, I kind of figured, well, I also saw the box score after the game, but even just watching it, you felt like the Lions had more yards and a higher yard per play average because of the 5 or 6 chunk plays they had compared to the Eagles really not having any chunk plays.
But it finally happened. The Eagles won in yards per rush.
They did.
Barely.
That's right. Barely.
3.7 to 3.5, but it finally happened.
Yeah. No, I don't know if either team is real proud of their overall number. Eagles at 3.7 and the Lions at 3.5. Just goes to show how difficult it was for both teams to run the ball.
No doubt.
We have an underrated stat here. Maybe we'll talk about this more on the next episode, because as we'll let our listeners in now, because they play 2 games next week. We felt like it wouldn't make sense to do an Inside the Data right after the game against the Cowboys and then right before the game against the Bears. So we'll do one the following week that encapsulates both. But maybe at that point, we'll take a look at penalty yardage on the season, because the Eagles have had a strange number of false starts and some delayed games, just some weird penalties that they normally don't have.
Yeah, that'd be very interesting. I definitely can take a look at that. Not a problem at all.
The false starts are really the ones that have sort of been mind-boggling to me, Sam, just because it's such a veteran offensive line. My lot has had a few. It just, I don't know, maybe, I guess when you're struggling, right, which the O-line has struggled to meet its expectation. It's still good, but maybe you start pressing and then trying to get a little extra jump before the snap.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me. One other basic stat I'd love to just briefly say is this. I think this was their best average starting field position of the year.
Oh,
or at least since we started tracking it, which I don't think I did that the first 2 weeks, but I added it after that. But so this is the best since that period.
Yeah, I also wonder if it's one of their best margins, meaning that their average starting field position was 36.1, Lions 28.8. It's a pretty big difference.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it was just because the Lions kept going for it on 4th down.
That's a great point.
So,
great point.
I mean, that's a lot of where that came from.
Sure. And of course, the Eagles did not turn the ball over, rinse, wash, repeat, All right, here's the favorite stat that we like to talk about with the offense: 3rd down situational stats.
Yeah.
So they may have had fewer 3-and-outs, but they still weren't good on 3rd down.
But here's the thing: this is the first time they beat the opponent on 3rd down.
It is. Oh, you know what? My eyes deceived me there. I thought that's at 33%. You're right. It said 23%.
So that's
sort of like a hold my beer situation for Detroit to Philadelphia.
I think so. And the fact that I think they were like 0 for 5 on 4th down. So it's just, they did really well on those important 3rd and 4th downs against the opponent. They didn't do particularly great on their own opportunities.
Right.
I think they were 0 for 1. I think the only one I could think of was the failed tush push.
I thought there were 2 failed.
Maybe there. but
There was
it
a
was
false start on one, wasn't there? The
yeah,
Tyler
yeah,
Steen putting the arm over, so that actually probably doesn't count because then they wound up punting, right?
yes, that would not count towards this data for sure. So that's the only one I can think of, at least on top of my head. So
Oh wait, no, hold on. So they were going to tush, yeah, because that was a fourth down play, not a third down play, right?
mhm.
Right. All right. So their season average this year, 33.9%, continues to be lower than last year, which was closer to 42%. Their opponents' average, this amazingly, the Lions going 23% on third down made the Eagles' season average against at 40.4, which means opponents are converting 40.4% of their third downs against the Eagles. So that number probably dropped significantly because of the Lions, and yet it's still at 40.4%.
Yep.
Sort of shows you the Eagles have some work to do here.
Yeah, they certainly do. I think you said it perfectly. But I will say that because of how this game went and the 3 for 13, it started to normalize the distribution on the third and short, third and medium, and third and long.
Yeah,
Once we get to that, it's starting to look a little bit closer to even, which is
true.
what you kind of want to see.
Right. So
At a
as we
minimum, you want to see it even, but yeah.
Yeah, as we look at because the big thing was, I think the Eagles were in third and long more than third and short and third and medium combined. And now it's getting twice as more. And now it's not twice as more anymore, right?
Right.
Yeah. So it's like 52 snaps of third and short and third medium combined and 72 of third and long. At one point, it was like, 60 and 28 or something like that.
Yeah,
it was
it
way
was
off.
really not good. And you know what? They're still kind of continuing that trend. They had more third and long plays than they did third and short and third and medium combined in this game too.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're still continuing the trend. When we go to see the visualization of it, they're at 56.1% third and long,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to last year when they were 46.6%.
Yeah. Yeah. Right now. 58.1 third and long.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. That's a pretty big piece of the
That
pie.
is what it says. Yes. I misread it.
Yep. So,
But yeah,
okay. So they're in third and short, only 13 point. I almost think that that's striking too, because the Eagles have been a 4-down offense for quite a while, and they've always been able to run specific plays on third down, knowing they're going to go for it on fourth down. But they've been in third and short only 14% of the time this year, compared to 26% last year. That's a pretty big differential that I don't think we've talked about, because third and medium is kind of around the same. It's that they're in third and long so much longer, which naturally means they're in third and short a lot more.
yeah. I
Or
think
less,
that
less. Sorry.
less for sure. But I think we kind of briefly alluded to this, I think last week,
Mm-hmm.
where I think that their mindset's different to set it up for third down because they have fourth down. And I also think teams play them differently because they're trying to keep them from getting closer,
Yes.
to even go for the fourth down.
Yes.
So I think that factors in to some extent, maybe not explaining the entire variable, but it does explain some of it, I think.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense to me. Obviously, teams have studied the Eagles all season and tried to figure out different ways to come at them. All right, let's go through some of your facts, your fun, not so fun facts.
Yes. So the Philadelphia Eagles have won consecutive games despite fewer than 20 points in each game, marking the first time that they have won back-to-back with fewer than 20 points since Week 15 of 2004. The fun part, though, this is also the first time the Eagles have allowed 10 points or fewer in consecutive games since Week 3 of 2022. Now, just reading that before we even get to the next part, do you have an idea who they played Week 14, Week 15 of the 2004 season?
2004 season, Week 14 and 15. So this is the Super Bowl year, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've lost Terrell Owens for the year at this point. 14, and it's only a 16 game schedule at this point. So I'm going to guess that they basically didn't play because they had such a huge lead for, I think, in the conference and the division, that they didn't play their starters. And I will say they played Washington and Dallas, those 2
You're
weeks.
absolutely right. That was
Get out of here.
I swear to you, you're right. In that
Oh,
order,
wow.
it was Washington first and then Dallas.
And if memory serves me correctly, in 2004, those teams were not good.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the scores were 17-14 and then 12-7.
Yeah.
So that's incredible that you got both of those.
It's a little strange. I admit. I thought I might get one of those two right just by going in the division, but man, nailed them both. Wow.
All right, do you want to try week 2 to 3 of 2022?
So you said this is the Eagles the first time the Eagles have allowed 10 or fewer points in consecutive games since weeks 2 and 3 of 2022. All right, that's just a couple of years ago, right?
That should be easier. It's a better poll than 2004. That's crazy.
Yeah. So
impressive.
this is 25, 4, 3, 2. Well, I feel like Kirk Cousins has to be in there somewhere because he was always playing the Eagles for 3 straight years on week 3, and maybe the Bucks. How about Vikings Bucks?
You're 1 for 2.
Ah,
It was Vikings, a 24-7 game, and then it was not the Bucks. But Bucks have pretty consistently been week like 4 for the Eagles too.
Yeah.
It was the Commanders.
Okay. That would make sense.
So, but
that was the 9 sack. Was that the 9 sack game against Carson
Yes.
Wentz? Maybe.
I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what a pull. Nice job. You definitely I'd put you on my trivia team.
Thank you. Thank you. I have a sickness sometimes with a little recall in especially in non-consequential games.
Which, to be fair, is a lot of Eagles history for a good deal.
Yeah.
So
all right. So the Eagles offense. What do we have here on the red zone?
Yeah. So this is actually a really interesting fact. I got both of these from NFL Pro, but the Eagles offense has made a trip to the red zone on just 23.1% of their drives this season. And that's the 4th lowest rate in the NFL, ahead of the Browns, Jets, and Titans, who together have a combined 5 wins. Just so we're super clear on that.
Wow. So I know we were giving the Eagles a lot of credit earlier in the season, and they still deserve it for having one of the highest red zone efficiency rates in the NFL. At one point, they were 100. They were 11 for 11, but we kept couching it to say, but your number can be high when you have a lot fewer attempts, and they were always among the league's worst. I thought, Sam, by now that was going to, because that was about through week 3 to 4 or something.
Yeah,
I thought by now they'd be better, but they clearly have not. I mean, I know so a lot of people want to talk about this offense and just say, hey, look, these last 2 games, they've been outdoors against really good teams. Like, you have to excuse some of the offensive lethargy, or at least cough it up to that. But this is some of the stuff we're doing on 3rd down and red zone here, which is the game. Like, situational football is how you win games, has been an issue since week 1 and not going away.
Yeah. And you actually kind of stole my thunder a little bit.
Sorry.
No, you're good. But they still are leading the league when they're in the red zone,
right?
At 75%.
Yeah.
But the problem is they're just not getting there, kind of like what you exactly said.
Yeah.
And NFL Pro attributes it to their inability to stay on schedule, which is what we said, on snaps outside of the red zone. They have a 40.3% success rate on outside of the red zone plays, which is the 3rd lowest in the NFL, ahead of only the Browns and Titans. And again, you really don't want to be compared to the Browns, Jets, or Titans this year. Especially this year. So
yeah, especially offensively. I mean, yeah. Hey, it's Geoff Mosher. And if you have a family and kids at home like me, you always want them to be fully protected. That's why I'm thrilled to be a Simply Safe customer. And our house is equipped with the most technologically advanced alarm system you can get. If you could actually stop someone from breaking into your home before they got inside, why wouldn't you? Traditional security systems only react after a break-in. But Simply Safe is different because it stops crimes before they happen with Active Guard outdoor protection. Their AI-powered cameras detect threats while they're still outside your home, and they alert real security agents. These agents take action while the intruder is still outside and confront the intruder to let them know they're being watched on camera and police is on the way. And that's how you stop a crime before it's committed. There's no long-term contracts or hidden fees. You can cancel anytime, and it comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee. Try it and see the difference for yourself. Do not miss out on Simply Safe's biggest sale of the year, 60% off. Our listeners get 60% off a Simply Safe home security system at simplysafe.com/bird. That's simplysafe.com/bird. Hey, Philly fans, game day is stressful enough. Parking, traffic, long lines. We've all been there. But when it comes to your cannabis, Camden Apothecary makes it easy. This is the dispensary for sports fans, just minutes outside of Philly with plenty of free parking. You'll be in and out fast, no hassle, no waiting. And they don't just care about convenience. Camden Apothecary is all about the guest experience. Their staff makes sure you feel taken care of every time you walk in. Plus, they carry only the best quality cannabis at the fairest prices. So whether you're stocking up for the tailgate, the watch party, or celebrating a big win, you know you're getting the good stuff without overpaying. They even show love to the community with specials for fans, students, service members, and healthcare pros. Camden Apothecary, top quality cannabis, great prices, and an experience made for Philly fans 21 and up. All right. I'm sure everybody is excited about offense here.
Well, it finally happened. I feel like I keep saying that, but it did.
Mhm.
The Eagles are finally a negative EPA team in terms of offense. They were
That's not good.
positive until
Mhm.
this game.
Right. And then I guess what happened to bring it down was that they were a negative in every single category against the Lions. EPA per play, per pass, per rush. The one per pass is the worst, right? Minus 0.34.
Yeah, and look, if their pass is now at 0.00, it's the only one that isn't negative. But honestly, I feel the frustration. Everybody's frustrated. We're going red. Until it goes positive, it's going to be red on this chart. And
Well,
I
I
know,
agree.
listen, my chart definitely dictates the Eagles' offense. It's definitely
Of
it makes a
course.
huge it's consequential, of course.
I totally agree, Sam.
I want to give them a
Fate of
stick.
the Eagles is in the hands of is in your charts.
Clearly a big part of it.
Uh, um, they were. It's weird because when you see that they were positive in the net time before pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's usually a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you're being pressured for less of the time on average that you're throwing, which is good.
Right.
But at the same time, I mean, the time to pressure was faster,
Yep.
so it's relative statistic, right? I mean,
Good point.
yeah. I mean, you have like a negative, you have 0.06 more of a second.
Mhm.
But what's that gonna really do for you when you're getting pressured, 0.21 faster? So
Yeah. And yet the pressure percentage was lower than the normal season percentage.
yeah,
So I
so
always find these stats somewhat hard to like parse, I guess, because there are some times where it seems like a stat will tell you that the other team got good pressure, and then when you look at the pressure rate, it wasn't as good as maybe what the season average against them is, and it makes my head spin.
I get it. And listen, sometimes the stats deceive your eyes. It's always better. It's always better when they confirm it.
There you go. Average separation for the Eagles in this game was only 2.3%.
Well, just 2.3 yards
I'm
on
sorry, yes, 2.3 yards.
2.3% would be a problem for
Right,
sure.
that would be bad. Yards per target, which is well below the 3.4. The Lions played a lot of man coverage in this game. So, I don't know, it strikes me as an interesting statistic that when a team played a predominant number a lot of man with backup corners and a backup safety, that the Eagles had trouble getting separation.
Yeah.
It could be also a route concept thing. I don't want to put that all on the receivers. Just sort of, I don't know, glaring really jumps out.
I agree with that sentiment for sure.
And then the old one that jumps out here is that their runs were stuffed at a 25% rate, even higher than their season rate of 22%. As
Yep.
running continues to be a problem.
Yeah, it really does. And honestly, I went through run success last year just
Mhm.
to see, because I was considering putting run success red too, but they're actually not that far off from their run success last year still.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think at least this one has an explanation. I mean, they faced stacked boxes on your chart at 48% of the time, which is much higher than their season average of 34. So clearly, the Lions were putting a lot of guys in the box and aiming to stop Barkley, and they did.
Yeah.
Even the best run that Barkley had, that 14-yarder, was a misdirect. It was a non-blocking play. It was everybody blocks to the right and pitch the ball to the left.
Yep.
So.
It's a weird year for the offensive line for sure.
All right, now I love that you came up with these offensive tendencies by the Eagles. We wanted to take a deeper dive into this, and I know you went to that's Warren Sharp's site, right? The Sharp
I believe
Football
so. Yes.
Analysis.
Yes.
Yeah, and he does a really good job of breaking down what offensives do from personnel groupings, and then also pre-snap, motion, play action, air yards, and things like that. So for people who can't see the chart, what's the one thing that really jumped out to you here?
Well, I think there's a couple things that jump out, but I mean, motion rate is still among the lowest in the league. Play
Mm-hmm.
action rate still among the lowest in the league. You know what's interesting though is every other statistic. I mean, they're in the top 10, if not the top 5, and that's air yards per attempt. Which
Yep.
again, air yards per attempt, you don't necessarily want to be particularly high there because it means you're relying on deep shots typically, which
Yep.
is pretty like you can say that for the Eagles offense this year. That's kind of accurate.
100%.
And then shotgun rate, I mean 76.3%. You're 7th in the league. I know a lot of people want them to go under center more. They've done it a little bit more. But really it's not, eh. And then the no huddle rate at 16.9% is 4th in the league. And that one is not really a problem. They've done pretty well in no huddle.
Yeah.
But it's just so jarring that they're, bottom of the league in motion and play action, yet top of the league in the other 3 statistics. So.
Yeah. I mean, again, they're so screwy that, like, I don't know. I would love to look at Seattle's because I would imagine that their play action rate is very high and their air yards rate, I would imagine, is very high because normally you get your shot plays off of play action.
Right.
The fact that the Eagles have almost no play action and still have number 1 in air yards is mind-boggling. And I agree with you. In fact, when I looked at this graphic, I said people are going to think that the first 2 categories are the worst, being 29th in motion and 30th in play action. But we're going to tell them that being number 1 in air yards theoretically might sound good, but really isn't because again, we know the greater context is that the offense is not good right now. And this just shows exactly what you said. You're a shot play offense. You have no complementary run game to your intermediary game to you're just basically throwing the ball down the field and hoping something happens. And 2 or 3 times a game it does.
That is literally the Eagles season this year. That I could not have said it better. That is the Eagles season this year. At least
really is. Yeah. All right. Good stuff. You have Saquon Barkley's carry chart here. This is the first time I think we've done the route trees, but we haven't done a carry chart.
Yeah, we haven't because there really hasn't been much to discuss. But all I'm going to say is it's the same song and dance. I mean, listen, their outside runs with Saquon this year have been better.
Yes.
Anytime they've been running like behind a tackle, outside the tackle, it's been better. That may change now that Lane Johnson is injured. I don't know how comfortable they are running behind Fred Johnson, but pretty consistently the tackles have been the best spot. The outside runs have been better.
Yes.
And I don't think anything's changed. That's the reason I put it up here. So.
Yep. And the one that goes up the left sideline that's green, I believe was that misdirection flip play, 90 flip that I was talking about.
Yes.
So if you were to take that out, just on that's sort of a guy's play, and I don't want to call it a trick, but I mean, again, there's no blocking involved. So
it's a misdirect. Yeah,
misdirection. Right. Even though a misdirection sometimes has a guy in front of you, like that one was literally just nobody in front. Yeah. Yes. By the way, 83 yards was one of Saquon Barkley's better games this year. But I think
it's crazy to say that.
What jumps out is the rushing yards over expectation, which is minus 37. Does that mean he left meat on the bone?
Typically, yeah. It's not a perfect statistic. It never is. But what it's saying is, like, given the same situation, an average running back would have 37 more yards.
I find that hard to believe.
I also find it hard to believe.
Okay.
I think, honestly, I understand my potential bias because of my Penn State connection, actually knowing Saquon. I try to take it out of it. I will acknowledge it. But I will say that I don't think this can be attributed to Saquon. I really don't overall this year.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would love to go through each run with whoever charts who's responsible for this and ask them where they thought Saquon. There was one play we showed on Inside the Tape with Greg. And by the way, some of these numbers can be skewed. If there's a play, right, that a rushing play where Saquon doesn't hit the correct hole, but if he did, he might have had a 50-yard run because you can see nobody there. Doesn't that sort of skew the average big time? Or
I'm sure it does. I don't know the exact algorithm, how that works.
Okay.
I know what the implications of it are, but I don't know the exact inner workings of the algorithm, to be honest with you.
Because there was one play where he got stopped in the backfield. And honestly, the line did not get any push, but it was 3rd and 1. And as he's getting the handoff at the mesh point, there is a crease on the left side that he had the ability to hit, but he kind of did. You know how sometimes he does that weird thing with his legs where he shuffles, but he stays in the same
I
spot.
know exactly what you're talking.
Yeah,
I almost wonder if his running style has kind of reverted back to like, I need to make plays. This, it's hero
that's what
ball.
we thought. Yeah, we thought that maybe he was tentative and reluctant. Now, again, the line was on the blocking side of it was getting pushed back. So as a running back, you see color or you see penetration, and you're going to do that. That happens a lot. But there was a hole on the left side to run through that he just kind of, I don't know, maybe he was so shocked to see an opening that he didn't know how to handle it. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's a play that where I thought he could have gotten the 1-2. Minus 37 seems a little strange, but
I agree. Listen, we can only report what the statistics are and kind of what they mean, but
sure.
as to how those ones are actually calculated, it's hidden a little bit. So
All right. Well, if you really want to understand how bad the passing game is, and you've been listening to this show for better part of 2 years, 2 seasons now, there's one stat here on Jalen Hurts' passing chart that should make your eyes fall out. Right?
is it the CPOE?
Yes, this is the number one quarterback in CPOE for like 2 years running up until recently. No, and by a
It's
pretty
a
good
Jalen
margin.
Hurts signature stat,
Yeah.
actually.
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
You
Exactly.
he makes the hard throws, but in this game, he just wasn't. And honestly, I think this statistic can somewhat be attributed to the windy conditions,
Agreed.
just to some extent. Does that alleviate him from all blame? No, I don't think it was his best game, but I think it's also understandable because of the conditions of the field
Yeah.
and the game flow. I mean, they did throw the ball particularly often early, which
Yes.
is not typically what they've done this year. So I don't know. I think those are factors. I don't want to make excuses because we haven't seen the best of Jalen Hurts, and
Hmm.
he isn't even performing in the statistics that he usually does. So, and I think that's just emblematic of this team. So
Yeah, and I mean, I guess the bigger point is the wind has the most or greatest impact on throws that are going to be in the air for a long time, which are his signature throws. The fact that the wind, let's say it did impact it, I think it did. Okay, but it also goes to show you that there's that lacking of the intermediary and short game that we're talking about, where the wind would have less of an impact. I mean, you can throw the ball, and the wind is gusty. It doesn't blow at 50 miles per hour all the time. It's just at certain times it really picks up. But if you have a screen game, if you have a short game, if you have a pop pass, RPO game, and you're setting up those longer shots, those are easier passes. So you're theoretically improving your completion percentage. And B, it allows you to move the chains without being so reliant on that. So, I mean, I think you're right that the wind, we can attribute that to the wind, but we can also attribute the overall to the fact that this offense is a shot play or nothing offense.
there's no complementary offense at all. I mean,
Right.
that's honestly the biggest takeaway or theme that we should take from this particular episode on the offense.
Right. By the way, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time all year he's had a negative CPOE.
I think you're right about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking now. Actually, against the Packers, again, elements, it was plus 1.2, which is good that it's positive, but that's like way below his typical season average, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, yeah. I mean, it also helps when you have AJ Brown and Devonta Smith, particularly Devonta Smith, that can just make any catch that you put anywhere near him.
Hey, I still like a good night out, but I'm not always in the mood to drink. And that's why I looked for a great alternative and I found one. It's called Soul's Out of Office Gummies. You get the same light, happy buzz, but you don't have the hangover. There's no sugar, and you don't get that awkward feeling the next morning. They help me unwind and ease into my evening without the alcohol or the next day fog. Soul is a wellness brand that believes feeling good should be fun and easy. Soul specializes in delicious hemp-derived THC and CBD products designed to boost your mood and help you unwind. Their best-selling out-of-office gummies were designed to provide a mild, relaxing buzz, boost your mood, and enhance your creativity and relaxation. With 5 different strengths, you can tailor the dose to fit your vibe. From a gentle 1.5 milligram microdose to their newest 15 milligram gummy for a more elevated experience. They've also got a variety of products specifically designed to help you get a better night's rest, including Soul's top selling sleep gummy, a fan favorite for deep, restorative sleep. So bring on the good vibes and treat yourself to Soul today. Right now,
Soul is offering our audience 30% off your entire order. So go to getsoul.com and use the code BIRDS, BIRDS. That's getsoul.com, promo code BIRDS for 30% off.
All right. Good stuff. Yes, great point. And now we get to excite people by talking about the defense and the by the number stats. These are the advanced stats. And look at that, all green.
All green. There's nothing to put red, to be honest with you. I mean, the defense has been playing phenomenally. You know, the Jalen Phillips addition cannot be, honestly, even when I talk about it, it's still, I'm underselling it. It has been, it's changed the inflection of this team, of this defense. It really has.
I agree. I wrote this on Philly Voice on Thursday. I believe that there's another addition to the defense that has been talked about, but not not enough as maybe this is equally as important as Jalen Phillips, and that has been Nakobe Dean and the way they've used him since he's come back. He has been used in the blitz, in the sim pressure, and his pass rush numbers are fantastic over the last 2 weeks. He is blowing up running backs like David Montgomery and Josh Jacobs. He's getting past guards on sim pressures who are just a little bit late, but still making contact. I mean, his pass rush, Sam, has been a really big part of why Vic has stopped blitzing almost like by 50%. The last 2 weeks, he's been among the least blitzing defensive coordinators in the league.
I mean, take a look. It's right there. They were 21% on the season, only 12.8 against Detroit, which is definitely a talking point I was hoping we'd get to. So I'm glad you brought it up.
Yep.
What's interesting is both Dean and Phillips will be free agents after this season. So
it is.
It'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah. And on the EPAs here, I think it's worth noting that they're not just green because they're better. They're overwhelmingly better than the season average. I mean, when you talk about EPA per play, season average being minus 0.12, which is a good thing. As you always say for defense, you want to be in the minus 4.9.
They're top 10 in the league in EPA per play, by the way, for defense.
But for week 11 or for total?
For total.
Wow. So week 11, they might be number one.
I would assume they would be number one. Having almost negative 0.5 is ridiculous. Like that is highly elite defense.
Yeah. I mean, just compare that to the 0.07, which is a good number, EPA per rush, but then to go to 0.053 is, 0.53. So you went from 0.07, which is like 0.1 to 0.5. That's a huge.
You're 5 times better.
Yes, 5 times better. Thank you. I was struggling to figure that one out. Good stuff there.
And
go ahead.
One other thing I just want to talk about before we move on from it is, despite the blitz percentage going down, the pressure percentage actually was up on the season, and the sack percentage was pretty much the same. But
but that's good. But that pressure percentage went up from 36% on average to 41%. I think for pressure, that's a really big jump.
That is a really big jump for sure.
Yeah,
especially when you're blitzing less.
And that's the whole point. That is Vic Fangio's mantra in a nutshell. It makes us think of the Super Bowl when they crushed the Kansas City offense without blitzing one single time. It allows Vic to operate from a too high safety structure a lot and then change the picture on the back end, because all he's doing is letting his front four get the job done, and he can do things on the back end. And clearly Goff was hurried. I mean, I'm sure the wind impacted him too, but he made a lot of throws where his back foot was not planted quickly and firm.
Yeah, I mean, he just didn't have time. I mean, the time to pressure was 2.41 seconds. And I believe for Hurts, it was like 2.6. So
I can go back and look real quick.
And that does make a big difference.
Sure. Let's see. Time to pressure, 2.6. Yeah. So, yep. Good call. Oh, look at that. I love it. It's like I honestly didn't see this before, we do this. So that was awesome. Good segue.
Well, here's the thing. I could have given it to so many people this week. Might as well give it to the guy, who's the architect of the defense, the play caller of the defense.
Yes.
Let's give it to Vic Fangio.
Yeah. And you want to split it with him and Jordan Davis for all those batted balls at scrimmage?
So it was either going to be Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Jalen Phillips. It could have been Nakobe Dean. Quinyon Mitchell. There's two.
Yeah,
and if you notice, we don't do a star of the stat sheet for the offense anymore because they haven't earned it. There's no No one, honestly, it could have been Jordan Mailata. He went against Hutchinson, and I don't think he allowed a single pressure. He went against McNeil too, and I think he had like 15 matchups against them and did not allow a single pressure. So that could have been him.
There you
But
go.
until the offense starts performing, we're just going to ignore that part.
So I like it. So there were so many good players on defense. You give it to the guy who put them all in position to succeed. And it's Mr. Phillies, Vic Fangio.
There you go.
And to remind everybody that Lions, give us the stats on this Lions offense that they just shut down.
Yeah, so they were averaging 29.2 points per game, which is 5th in the league, 366.9 yards per game, which is also 5th in the league, 3.5 touchdowns per game, 3rd in the league, plus 0.05 EPA per play, which is 8th, and 35.5% pressure, which is 21st.
So, and they held that team to 9 points, 317 yards. I think the biggest thing is the minus 0.49 EPA per play. It's hard when you're that bad on a play-to-play basis. It's going to be hard to score and win games. Totally, and if you're the Lions and you don't score, you don't win.
Yeah.
Good stuff. We already talked about the 3rd and 4th down, 3 of 18. It's almost I don't think I've ever seen a game, by the way, where a team was 0 for 5 on 4th down.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the fact they kept going for it is very Dan Campbell. But
very.
Honestly, once you stop getting the 3rd one, I kind of know how the game's going. I feel like you go back away from that decision a little bit, especially the longer 4th downs they went for. I was like, oh, okay, this is happening.
So there was one player on the defensive front, Sam, who I thought kind of flew under the radar because of the games that Jalen Phillips had, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter. Do you know who I'm referring to?
I would assume it's Jalix Hunt.
Yeah, I thought he played. Rewatching it the next day, it just didn't jump out to me as much live. But man, he had a really good game.
He did, and honestly, I even didn't say him when I was talking about who could be the star of the stat sheet. He absolutely could be. I mean, 30% win rate is elite win rate.
Yep.
25% pressure is pretty dang good for sure. Wish he finished with the sack, but it happens. So.
By the way, when you say 30% or higher is an elite, or 20% or higher is elite?
Yes.
Win rate? Do you know what Nakobe Dean's win rate is over the last 2 weeks?
No, but I can figure it out for you.
I can just tell you. I already know.
Oh, you have it?
It's 45%. Now, let me be fair. He doesn't rush the passer nearly as much. I think it's on 9 or 10 pass rushes. But nonetheless, even if that regressed a little bit,
it would. And it would.
Yeah, it would definitely. But again, it's up on Philly Voice. You can see it. I mean, he's winning, legitimately winning. He's bowling over David Montgomery on a blitz to sack Jared Goff. He is basically tossing aside Josh Jacobs on a sim and getting to the quarterback. So there's nothing. The only thing flukish about it is that it's not as many pass rushes as Hunt or Phillips, but I mean, he's winning in his opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. And just want to note that Brandon Graham, who had 3 pass rush attempts, had 2 pressures on those 3.
Yeah, look at him. Even despite a kind of I guess for an old man, 1.08 isn't such a bad get off.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, listen, he knows how to win still. Obviously, you can't scale that 2 for 3 out. It will not be at 66% pressure rate when he's on the field, but it's nice to see there's a little bit of juice left.
Yeah. And look, I think there's something encouraging about Nolan Smith having a 0.99 get off, which would be the second best behind Jalix Hunt of the 4 rushers, even though he only played 13 snaps and he didn't, really generate too much. He's on the pitch count. Vic Fangio said it, but at least you're getting the athleticism that he's supposed to have. And I would imagine he's healthy, and the more he gets into the rotation, the better he'll do.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
Awesome. All right. Now, interior defensive line. Whew, man, there's some good numbers here.
There totally are. What jumps out to you in particular?
Jomo and Davis having what is an elite win rate for? You have it here, right? For
about 15%.
15%. The fact that those guys are at 14%, and those are Jomo, okay, but Davis, it's showing that his pass rush is coming along.
Yeah,
even though he had a very slow get off. But I wonder, sometimes is the get off only on pass rushes, Sam?
I don't think so, because it's beating the blocker within 2.5 seconds of the snap. So I do think it would account for everything.
Sometimes these guys, they don't go full throttle. In fact, I think in this game you saw them intentionally holding up and then batting the pass at scrimmage because of what they saw on tape. So that might impact your get off if you're intentionally holding up a little bit and then, trying to bat the pass at the last second.
Right. I think you're absolutely right. And you'll see a case where I don't agree with NFL Pro Stats. As we go to the next category, you'll see.
Yeah. Really quickly, though, Jalen Carter, as a 300-pound interior defensive lineman, having a get off at around an edge rusher at 1.07 is pretty good, too.
I mean, listen, they've played him on the edge a little bit,
too.
They
have been.
So, I mean, that's part of it. I mean, angles are important, and it's a little bit easier in theory. I mean, listen, I wouldn't be able to do it. I don't think you'd be. No offense, I don't think you'd be able to do it either. But theoretically, it's easier on the edge for a couple of reasons. But yeah,
right. All right. Thanks to NFL Pro there for those that. All right, you want to talk about coverage here?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So these are some stats I found about Quinyon Mitchell. He was targeted 6 times and allowed 0 receptions. It's tied for the most targets without allowing a reception in a team over the last 2 seasons. I'll let that one breathe for a second before I go to the next one.
Most targets without allowing a reception over the last 2 seasons. And 6 times, no reception. Wow. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very impressive. And I mean, it's the 3rd game this season where Mitchell did not allow a reception.
My gosh. I mean, I think he's going to make at least Pro Bowl. I think he's making a really good case for All Pro, especially the way they're using him now, the shadow receivers and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it's fair, right? I mean, at least Pro Bowl. He's got to be at least Pro Bowl.
I don't know. He's playing All Pro level. It really
is. That's why I said at least Pro Bowl.
No, I know. I'm just saying. I just don't know. I mean, listen, it might be second team, but I just don't see there are not 3 other corners that are better than him. So
you're probably right about that. Awesome stuff.
And then on 39 coverage snaps, tied for the 3rd most coverage snaps by an outside corner without allowing a reception. His catch rate over expectation minus 46.9%, which is incredible, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And then his coverage EPA was also incredible at minus 8.3. And he's allowed 41.9% completion percentage in coverage this season. That's the lowest by any player with 50-plus targets in a season since 2018.
Oh, my God. Now, don't ask me who the player was in 2018 because I won't get it. 7 years ago. We don't even know if it's – you don't have the name, do you?
If I had to guess, it's either Josh Norman or Richard Sherman. But
that's a good one, Josh Norman.
I don't know which one it would be.
Or Richard Sherman.
I mean, I could look right now, but –
No, that's a heck of a guess. It's probably going to be better than anything. 2008. No, I don't know if 2018 because the Legion of Boom was best in 2013, 2014, right?
So then it's probably.
And then Norman had his best years 15, 16. So this is
18. Yeah. So it was past that year.
Yeah.
That was just a guess.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
I wonder if it'd be like Steph Gilmore, New England Patriots.
Oh, that could be a good one. Who else?
Now we got to know.
Who else?
Trying to think of a real elite corner. Maybe a year that like Tre'Davious White stayed healthy. That might have been the one year. Surtain's not in the league yet. I don't know. I think Gilmore would be my best guess on that.
It's just loading very slowly right now.
Damn. All right.
It's building anticipation for us, truly.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just trying to go through some other. Anybody on the Viking? Let's see. So the Eagles won in 2017. Who won the Super Bowl in 2018? That was the who went? That was the year the Eagles.
It was the Patriots, wasn't it?
Right. Yeah, but it was who did they play now? I can't remember who they played. So the Eagles lost to the Eagles beat the Bears in the first round. They lost to the Saints. The Saints lost to the Vikings on the Minneapolis Miracle, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the Vikings didn't make the Super Bowl. Hold on. Who did the Patriots play? Wasn't the Falcons, was it? No, because that was the year before the Eagles. Yeah, man, I'm drawing like this crazy blank that I can't even. But there would be no. But I think Gilmore was on the Patriots that year. That's why it jumped out to me.
So it
That
is
could be him.
So that says, I think it is Gilmore. I think it is because Gilmore had 45.2. Well,
Aaron Donald was defensive player of the year. This must have been the year that the Rams. It must have been the Patriots Rams, right?
yeah,
Wasn't that Super Bowl where
that's what I wasn't 100% sure on that, but that sounds right.
Yes, that was the really ugly 13-3 game. Now I remember.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, either way, it was fun trying to figure that out. If it jumped onto your,
I think it may be Marlon Humphrey.
Marlon Humphrey of the Ravens.
Yeah, but it says outside. No, does it say outside corner? Hold on. No,
I guess it doesn't have to. Oh yeah, it could. Okay. That's actually a pretty good one too. Although he didn't even make All Pro or Pro Bowl that year. His first All Pro was 2019.
No, the problem is just everybody has a lower completion percentage. That's why I'm just trying to figure it out. I'm trying to match the target. I'm not sure who it is.
Okay, no worries.
My guess was off though. I'll admit. I'm sure I'll get cooked in the comments for it. It's okay.
Well, the last thing I wanted to point out your note on Cooper DeJean.
Yes. He led the Eagles with a minus 11.2 cover GPA. Zach Bond was next at minus 6.8 cover GPA, which is really impressive. And then every player on the Eagles allowed a negative catch rate over expectation, which is kind of crazy, except for Jordan Davis, who they gave the 2 Gibbs receptions. My nearest defender. I watched both plays because I really wanted to talk intelligently about it, just about what it was talking about.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a fair.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't think it's fair in general to give an interior defensive lineman credit.
I was just about to say that. I don't think it's fair to almost anybody one-on-one on Jahmyr Gibbs in an open field. That was
that too.
Yeah.
But I wanted to see why they attribute it to it, because the cool thing about NFL Pro, what it does is it'll like have a yellow highlight on some of the things, and you can click on it and see what exactly the film says on the stat, which is I think is one of the coolest integrations of any
100%.
software they have.
Because
it explains it, right? I mean, the best thing that we always look for, especially here, is transparency.
Yep.
And NFL Pro has one of the most transparent models out there. So.
Absolutely. Life-changing for me, certainly, in research, data, and then even reporting. So awesome stuff, Sam. Really look forward to our next one. It'll be a little bit because we're going to get 2 games in between, of course, Sunday's game against the Cowboys, which is huge because it's the Cowboys, and then the historic first time for the Eagles, I believe, Black Friday game against the Chicago Bears, who themselves are a very interesting team and quietly
in first place
in the mix, not just first place, but with 7 wins, they're in the mix for the number 1 seed as well. Sure. Which is hard to believe or say, but it's there. So
you saw the alliance, right, on Twitter?
The alliance?
Were you familiar with this? There was like an underground alliance between Eagles fans and Bears fans because the Bears beat every NFC East team and the Eagles beat every NFC North team.
Oh my God.
There was this, like, on Twitter, there was this community of Eagles and Bears fans that came together, and they 100% just it's so fun, and to see the culmination of it. And one of the things that I saw in the comments of it, they were like, we hope the Eagles and Bears just knee it every single down and just tie.
That's funny.
It was such a cool synergy between fan bases that you don't see a lot. And honestly, it really wasn't reported much, but I saw it everywhere on Twitter.
That's so funny. I'm going to have to go down a rabbit hole and find that. I'm happy for Bears fans. Listen, that's a great football city, and it's not a city that's seen a lot of great football for a long time. So I'm happy for them. And I think it's going to be a really fun matchup. It's a team that's a little bit like the Eagles, and they've built up their offensive line. They run the ball extremely well. I think they lead the NFL in explosive runs. Their defense has come along. They're working on the quarterback a little bit. That's where they're a little bit different, whereas Jalen Hurts is a Super Bowl MVP. But offensive, conceptually, they do a lot of interesting things. So I don't think I've been this excited for an Eagles-Bears game since 2018 playoff game that week. And not even that game, there was something about like Mitchell Trubisky at quarterback there that I don't know. There was not that was not a fun Bears team. That was a great defensive Bears team.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, listen, Eagles-Bears always a good time. I mean, you have some historic matchups for sure.
100%
for sure.
All right, Sam. Thanks again. We'll catch up with you after those 2 games, and we will do this all once again. For Sam Finkel, I'm Geoff Mosher. We all thank you for watching Inside the Data on Inside the Birds.